On this episode, we bring Fiverr to the house. The Ask Gary V Show. Hey everybody, this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is episode 204 of the Ask Gary V Show. Actually, you know what? Switch, because I'm going to use him as my India. Let's do a little bit of ad hoc. I like your glasses. I'm pretty excited about this show. You know, this is a site. This is really fun. I'm going to let this wonderful gentleman tell you who he is and what we're doing here on this episode. But much like Musical.ly, even Snapchat before recently, and then I finally did invest. There's certain companies that I watch that I'm not involved with. I didn't make an angel investment, but I watch and they deliver on a thesis that I believe in. And the company that I've teamed up with for this campaign, and then subsequently this episode, and I assume, I don't know what the questions are gonna be, so the themes of the questions, are delivering on a very important thesis. And so, I don't know, I'm not in the, let's make a commercial, I'm in the, content business. You need to go down the rabbit hole of what these guys do for a living, because I know my audience, and for 80% of you, there's something meaningful that this platform can do for you that will be good for your business. And I think now that we have the search engine, we'll be able to pull it up. I think I brought it up maybe like 120 episodes ago, but I believe that most things are overpriced because of inefficiency. I believe these guys have solved it to some degree. And I'm personally excited to be doing this with you. I don't team up for contests or be the face of things ever. And I did it in 2 seconds because I believe in the thesis. So with that unbelievable anointment that I'm sure you'll chop up and use for other behaviors, why don't you tell the Vayner Nation who you are and from what company, and then let's get into the show.
Sure, Gary, thank you. And thanks for your trust, thanks for having us. I think you nailed it. Fiverr is
that often happens, by the way.
That's it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got that. So, listen, Fiverr, world largest marketplace of services. Fiverr was built in order to provide the largest catalog of services for digital needs. Our primary customers, small businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneur, micropreneur, mompreneur, any preneur you want should go on Fiverr and find the services they want. You are going to 5 million of services, hundreds of thousands of sellers are providing you their talents and their skills around graphic design, music and audio, online marketing, programming and tech. Each of them are going to provide you with services that will allow you to go faster, and often the entry price on Fiverr is going to be 10 times lower than you will find on the market.
Supply and demand. They've built, what's tough about marketplaces, you need both sides of the funnel, and that's why so many people fail. They pulled it off, period, end of story. Help me with this, because sometimes I don't stay up to date for everything. I headline read the things that I don't dig deep into. Originally, all the services were $5.
That's correct.
I think now that is not the way it is anymore, right?
That's correct.
Obviously you opened it up, and obviously somebody who thinks the thing that they're willing to do, a logo or things like that, if they want $30, you had to open up that marketplace. That makes sense. Even when you guys launched 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago?
6 years
right.
ago, yeah.
I looked, 5's my favorite number, by the way, so that was originally caught my attention. And second, I just believe in this. It's really no different than VaynerMedia. We do everything that the biggest agencies in the world do a lot cheaper, because we created a process. Now you did it better because it's software and it's marketplace. I'm doing it a little bit different because I'm building it for myself, different story, different day. But what's going on now is, how did you figure out the creative way to make Fiverr name still stick, or you just didn't give a crap, or is like 5 now the bottom, or like what did you guys do?
That's a good question. Fiverr is our brand, Fiverr is our community, and Fiverr is our name.
Right.
So put that aside for 1 second. How we thought about the opening.
When did you do it? When did you move from everything is $5? When did that happen?
It has happened gradually over the last couple of years.
Yes.
It's now, this trend is accelerating. What we are doing, we let our seller have complete pricing freedom.
Yes.
Under one condition.
What?
Which is being able to scope well the service, so the price can be understood. What's the difference between a logo at $5 and a logo at $50 and a logo of $250 and a logo of $5,000? We are helping and we are productizing that process for each of the category, 120
theme
categories.
Understand
how people buy.
But I'm sure you also agree, and I'm sure you're doing this because I just watched from afar and I think you guys are doing so many things right, but I assume, but maybe not, one of the differences between a logo for $50 and $5,000 is hours. That you can scope.
Yes.
Talent is not something you can scope.
You're absolutely right.
So you have to leave room for the gray.
Exactly.
Why is my keynote speech 6 figures and somebody else's is $10,000 and we both talk about social media? Because I'm fucking better.
So, and this is where you are.
Thank you.
You're right. And I think,
Again.
and you're right. And I think what you have to think about Fiverr, we focus on that market where we are not going for the $3,000 logo, $3,000 logo. What you are going to find on Fiverr is you are going to have a variety of options between $0 and $100.
We gotta get into the show because I have to be on a live
seminar.
seminar.
When I say 0, I mean 5.
No, I know you mean 5. Let me just say this, and you guys know me. We're now 300 deep into this, 250. I've been around for 10 years. I don't do things with anything because I just don't believe in most things. The reason I talk about Facebook and Snapchat 24/7 is because I believe in them. I am very aware of the community that watches this show. I am secretly, this is selfish, I'm secretly pumped that a lot of you don't know about this, and that literally it's going to be the thing that helps your small thing over the next year because you don't have a lot of money and you don't have unlimited time. And I think there's a ton of services on this platform that are grossly underpriced. The end. So let's get into the questions.
Let's do it.
India, who are you today?
My name is Adam.
And what do you do?
I do a lot of things. Substitute, asking questions for shows. But I do marketing at Fiverr as well on the side.
Very cool.
Side hustle.
And you know what? You didn't say who you are, right? We went right into it. Why don't you tell the Vayner Nation for 5 seconds who you are? I'm sure they're making assumptions, but they don't know your name.
Yeah, David Manella, Chief Revenue Officer at Fiverr. Born 41 years ago, north of France. My parents, first generation in France. Very nice childhood. Decided to move to New York at 22 years old for 3 months. And I'm still here. And during the last 19 years,
I love it.
The last 19 years, I've been working with a variety of startup and a high growth company. And I've developed that expertise to scale businesses.
I got it. Let's get into it.
Sanberio Nuevo asks, how can I charge more than other sellers in my market without losing revenue?
Nice question.
Go ahead.
It's about the why. When you think about pricing, it's about the why, and the why is often about quality. And what you just talked about, you nailed it on how can I justify a higher price? Maybe we just released a new product on Fiverr for most of our sellers and most of our categories now called packages. And what happens is that it allows you to use a well-known marketing techniques, which is good, better, best pricing.
That's right.
You can start at 5, you can have a package at 15, you can have a package at 30. So what you do is that it allows you to own that entry price point that allows you to build credibility, to get volume, and to get customers that could not afford the $50. But maybe at $50, what's going to happen is that you are going to provide more time, faster delivery, better techniques, and more options around the logo you are providing. And this is how you should price it.
I'm going to go yes, and I'm going to go and. You can always go back.
Take risk.
You can always go back. Like, let the market decide. Like, if you're $400 to make a logo, and then I promise you, whatever you got last time, ask for more the next time. Figure out what your cash flow is. It depends on how fancy you are.
How much time you want to spend on working on Fiverr.
How fancy are you, right? Like, do you want a nice watch? Well, then you need more money to buy that watch. But if you're willing to live in your basement, you could always go back. Like, you could get not. It depends. You know what? How many no's can you take? I did it for 400. Now I want 600. You come in? No. You come in? No. If you're fancy, you're gonna go back to 400 because you need the 400s. If you're not fancy and you can wait and be patient, then all of a sudden you can do a whole bunch of waiting, 10 no's, get your first 600, you established market. Another thing, how D-Rock got his gig. The other thing you could do is you can understand the difference between something that you want to do for $600, but then somebody asks you to do a logo and you do it for free because the exposure is going to allow you to get all the $600 ones that you want. Let's move on.
Letty Cab asks, I have a really hard time letting go of my job. I don't like it, but I've been there for so long. I have loans, 2 kids to support, a deep fear of leaving the security, and I'm not sure what it takes to make it as a solopreneur. Any tips on how to release the fear and decide whether to take the risk?
I've got it. I'll go first this time. Punt leisure. Punt leisure. You can work. Now look, if I'm gonna call you out. If you really mean that, you can live on 6 hours sleep. So you have 18 hours. You have 18 goddamn hours. I want to know what you're doing with your 18 hours. Because you can work your 9 to 5, and that's 9, and you could travel for an hour here and there. Respect. Nice little solid commute. Oh, you want to be a family man? Mazel tov. You can spend 2 hours with your kids. What do you do with those other 5 hours? You're watching House of fucking Cards. You're playing Madden. You're relaxing from the other intense 10. Gary, I already spent 11 hours. Well, great. Then don't complain or want more. Respect that by getting rest and this and that, you were giving up opportunity to go into a new world. You want the audacity to have a 1% life. Let's call it what it is. You want to live as well as the 1 to 2% in the world. It's not very complicated. The math is very raw. Like if you want to have one of the best lives in the world, which is you live on your terms, you have to pay your dues to get there. And you have to be lucky enough to figure out that you had talent in the thing that you actually want to do. Because you can work 24 hours a day, and if you stink at golf, or you're not a good content producer, or your logos look like the shit I would make, then you're gonna lose. So that's what you gotta do.
And Fiverr was built for you. Fiverr was built for those talented individuals who are trying to
Was Fiverr built for everybody?
Yes. For talented and skilled individuals that wants to find financial and professional independence. So what do you have on Fiverr today? Yes, you have sellers making 6 digits a year and are top sellers.
Real quick, I apologize. I know you want to say it, but they're all going. Here's the punchline. What's the mechanics? Are you guys taking like 20% of the transaction? Is that the number?
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, by the way, the reason I went there, because look, he's the chief revenue officer. It's all going to sound like, how do you cure cancer? Fiverr. How do you go to the moon? Fiverr. It's all let me save us time here. Here's why I'm curious. At the scale that you guys are now, not 5 or 6 years ago, 4 years ago, giving up 20% for that attention, no different than an eBay or an Amazon, I think is very minor for the exposure. And I think there's a Fiverr and things like Fiverr, but you guys are at scale, since why you're sitting here, and social media combo, that if you can make that 1 + 1 = 4, there's something very real there.
Fair.
Yeah, let's go.
eMerchant asks, I understand both are important, but if I only had to pick one, should I focus on content marketing or paid ads? I've learned paid ads provide more results with less effort. Thoughts?
I'll start. You start?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start. I'm advising a few startups, and that question comes often. And I think it's about, again, most of this question is about the why. What are you trying, the why and the what? What are you trying to achieve right now? I'll tell you something, which is thinking that you can build a business based on paid ads. At one point, it's going to catch up with you.
Always does.
It always does.
Because the creative is the variable of success. And the creative is your business, it's like the product, like your service, the creative, people don't, by the way, you can get in front of everybody with your ad. If that creative is bad, you won't convert. So just because, by the way, and you're exactly right. The answer is yes, if it makes you more money up front, and first of all, the person's gonna win because they understand there's 2 different things. He or she already knows, who was it?
eMerchant.
That was the name. He or she already knows that there's a big difference between sales and marketing. Paid advertising is sales. Branding, marketing, content, that's what that is.
That's correct.
And so I don't buy these because Nike fucking cookied me and chased me around the internet and I gave up and I bought them. I do it blindly because it's Nike.
Got the red pair, by the way.
Love it. So, so we're going to agree on that one, and I know we're keeping it tight. Let's go to the next one, because that I think we got.
Mike asks, as a copywriter/fiction writer, a lot of work goes uncredited or remains private to buyers. What's the best way for me to showcase my business without practical examples of my work?
For Fiverr, it's a very fair question. Fiverr, when you come as a buyer, you buy on Fiverr like you buy a book on Amazon. So, and Gary's book, please. ideally. So you buy what you see, but buying what you don't see is a little bit more difficult. So how do you do that? It's about your seller profile. It's about your skills. It's about the emotion and your talents on how to describe your gig on Fiverr. It's about to show your personality. It's about to put your face as your profile picture and not use a design. You want to create trust and confidence to do that. That would be my key recommendation.
I would say this. Look, again, I mean, I'm going to pound this because it's just true. They wouldn't be here. You know that. So this is a great tool at what it does. You don't need to make every tool do everything for you. If you want to get your name out there as this great writer, there's something called Medium. Medium's amazing. You can get completely discovered all day long, write for free. For it, you want exposure? It comes at a cost. It's called not getting paid for it. Listen, I wish you got paid $100,000 to write an article for the New York Times and get money and exposure. I wish. I also wish that I was 6'5" and could throw 100 miles an hour so I could be a baseball player. Like you know what I mean? Like, wishing doesn't mean anything. Here's the practical answer. You don't use a screwdriver to hit in a nail. You have a whole tool belt. And so you don't need to make Fiverr do this, and you don't need Snapchat. Everyone's like, oh, Snapchat, how are you going to target? You don't. You just realize that every 13 to 25-year-old's on it, and it's awareness. So what I would say is, it's funny, it alluded back to a recall when I said, I see this social media I guess what I see is, I think if you're a designer or songwriter, things of that nature, using the Fiverr URL on your Instagram to drive people there to create transactions around your free creative in an Instagram environment could be quite interesting. It's a very subtle way to throw a right hook without it doing, especially because of the oomph now. There's a lot of Fiverrs. I'm sure there's a lot of marketplaces out there, but this now has the oomph in the same way that a Facebook or something of that nature or an Amazon has. There's a lot of bookstores on the internet. Once something hits scale and it's the brand, you take advantage of that. And so I would say write great stories for free on platforms where people can see it. Here's a good one. Go and search every fiction or nonfiction Facebook page that has a lot of followers and ask them if you can write an original story for them to post in their community. I'm sure there's something called Fantasyland Fantasy where you write a great little fantasy article and a story.
What kind of page is that?
It's a Facebook page,
okay.
And there's
moving on.
Yeah, but I think there's some sort of silly page that probably has 4 million fantasy readers that people love, that Harry Potter and stuff like that. You write a great story for it. They post because they said yes, or maybe they'll charge you for the exposure. I don't know. Heck, you may have to get charged to build your brand and things of that nature. Nonetheless, it's about exposure, and you've got to find the avenues that have it, and not every tool has to do everything for you.
Great. Last question.
Yep.
Cinco and Cinco de Mayo.
You were waiting for that.
That
was your moment.
That was it.
Look in the camera and say thank you for my moment.
Thank you so much for
my moment.
Thank you for my moment. It comes from JustMe07.
What would have been your first gig if you were a seller on Fiverr, and why?
That's cool.
I'll let you start with this.
Mine would definitely have been, probably especially when I saw it 4 or 5 years, I would have probably done little hype videos for product. I would have been infomercial guy, right? I would have been the infomercial guy, like, this is delicious juice. So I think I would have video is my medium. And so I would have created original video. You know, agree, D-Rock? You were shaking your head.
I agree. I'm kidding.
Check out Fantasyland.
Yeah, exactly. Hey everybody, go to Fantasyland Fantasy for all your fantasy moves. From Harry Potter to Dungeons and Dragons, you'll love Fantasyland Fantasy.
Nice. Hiya. For me, it's on my, I'm very motherly with that, which is all of those gigs are my children. I don't want to choose one.
No, but forget about that. That's a cop-out. What do you do well? What could you sell for $10?
So I'll go with either SEM services or SEO services.
Got it. That's great. That's grounded in your craft.
For sure.
I would have hired you to voice over old Wine Library TV episodes with proper French accent.
I'll do that too.
Question of the day. You now get to attack. This is an important moment. You guys are building something special. You wanted to team up with me for this contest, which we have to link up. That has some restrictions, right?
New York, SF, Chicago.
That's what I thought. So New York, SF, Chicago, they have to live there? The contest we're doing?
You need to be based there.
They need to be based
Your
there.
SMB needs to be based there.
No worries. So if you're small businesses, there's a landing page where I'm in the
Yes.
video. So we're gonna link that up in Facebook and YouTube. Stefan,
Yep.
you sometimes get freaky on me.
No,
Okay.
I
You got it now?
Yep.
All right. This is where you get to ask the question today. There'll be hundreds of answers on YouTube and Facebook, which will give you great feedback. So you should think about it carefully. It could be about anything, but as the CRO, I think it's gonna be pretty fibered out. But anything you like, ask any question you like. What do you want to know from a lot of entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs? Like, what do you really want to know?
What is your number one pain? As an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
I'll talk to two audiences. First audience, which is those of you who are not comfortable with the online, that have mostly offline businesses. What is your main pain as you go into the online business? What do you need? How can we help you? What is your number one pain? So we can solve it because it's your number one goal. For those of you who are online,
Which is the far majority.
which are
If you're watching the show, you are in the online ecosystem.
And you are
because I
comfort-
suffocate the people that are not.
and
Keep going.
and for you, what can we provide? Same question, but as an online entrepreneur, what are the services that we need to provide you because you can't access this today? And we will. Offline entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, please answer those two questions.
You did a
Gary,
great
thank
job.
you.
You did a really good job, man. Brought great energy. You keep asking questions, we'll keep answering them.